7 years is a long time to spend in any one environment, and for a teenager, 7 years seems like a lifetime. But for a teenager here at To Skool, 7 years seemed like an eternity. Most of the viewers watching tonight will have got through the course with only minor mental defects, and in fact many of you watching are now allowed out on your own at night, provided you don't stray too far from the home. But what's it like to return to Imberhorn after so many years? I haven't got the foggiest idea, but I think I'm about to find out.
As I wandered again down the leafy driveway that led to that hallowed seat of learning, sweet memories of my youth began flooding back. Midnight feasts after lights out, nestling in matron's bosom after a nasty graze in rugger, and those strange games of leapfrog with the elder boys in the dormitory.
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong school. So here I am, in the corridors of knowledge, the place of enlightenment, discovery, revelation and insight. For it was here that the ignorant become informed, the simpleton becomes smart, and the pillock becomes perceptive. Down these passageways stroll learned men and women in the making, international corporate chairmen, politicians and lavatory cleaners alike, all idly philosophise in an atmosphere of genial academic splendour.
This is the intensive study area of the sixth form where the great intellects would gather to ponder life's mysteries, to debate the existence of a supreme being, to discuss world politics, or to skive off English.
Ah, the sweet sound of music. Yes, in here some truly unspeakable things happened, but also some truly wonderful things. For it was in here that Robin Taylor learnt to play the violin, Jeremy Weaver learnt to play the piano, and Cathy Dawes learnt to play Streets of London on the guitar. And of course, a lot of world-famous pop superstars started in this very place, including the very popular four-piece beat combo Village, who we'll be hearing from a bit later on tonight. In fact, I think I can hear them rehearsing right now. I'm here now outside the biology rooms, the biology lab in the sixth form block, where Mr. Dave Sweet and a team of tireless students are at this very moment working on a cure for herpes.
Gail, what's left? It's just that I'm modest. Do you want us to do our body popping as well? I'm just naturally, you'll get a word in. I'm just actually camera shy. A bit like the bell's going to go.
Doesn't worry us in the least. Mr. Hook, it's a long time since we've seen you. Sorry, may I call you Paul?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Hook, it's a long time since we've seen you. What have you been doing?
Serious?
Listen to my questions. What have you been doing since we left?
Applying for jobs, but every time I apply for a job, the kids bring up a petition to keep me here. So, you know, obviously I've been here rather longer than I normally would have done.
Yeah, because a lot of people that we were taught by have in fact moved on to better things. We were wondering why in fact you were still here.
Well, the last one I heard, I was unemployed, but Mr. Mallison tells me this is the best thing I'm going to get, so I'll have to really think, you know, how to take that.
If I was to tell you that I'm quite proud. If I was to tell you that quite a few of the economics set that you taught in '78 had now moved on to be bank managers and heads of international oil companies, what would you say?
Well, I'd say I'll take full credit for that. Yes.
Yeah, I was lying when I said that.
Yes, more than likely. They're more likely deputy managers, but I should think earning 3 times what I'm earning now. But don't let me mention salary. Hi. You know, because I don't think this is an opportunity to push my claim for a salary that reflects the amount of time and effort that I put into my work. Hello there, everyone.
I do feel I ought to tell you at this point.
Plugged in?
I certainly hope so. I do feel at this point I ought to tell you that this in fact will be seen by your headmaster at some stage.
I'm quite aware that I was warned by that before.
Have you got anything you'd like to say?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Mallinson.
Oh, well, thanks very much. You've been very helpful. Just one moment, please. Mr. Brian York here, who's just appeared on the scene here. Long time since we've seen you around these places. What have you been doing?
Not a lot, really. Just getting married and a few things like that, yes.
Any regrets?
Yes. Getting rid of you lot.
I see you're still here. It's been quite a few years now. You don't feel as though maybe it's time for you to move on?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And where's the problem?
I see.
wants
Fine.
me. Unlike Mr. Hook.
Well, what do you remember of our year in particular? What sort of memories do you have?
12-hour discos, 48-hour footballs, lots of good evenings.
Most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassing moment, I think when my tooth flew out in assembly.
Say no more. There's no answer to
Awful
that.
assemblies. Everyone will groan when they think of my assemblies. I still do, so there's no problem there.
What sort of things did you do for assembly then? You had to refresh my memory. I don't think I was there.
Well, yes, you may well have been in there in body, but not in mind. But there's the one assembly that always springs to mind. It's about Stanley Matthews. It's the one that I did 2 times, and the one that also Mr. Hook did 3 times. And on the 5th time, he proceeded to make Alan Riley stand up and screamed and bawled at him for getting up there. But no, it's all right. See Spankers and a few other people, so it's nice to see you all around. I look forward to seeing you at Christmas.
Would you like to say a few words to the gathered throng at this reunion party?
Cheers. Drinks are on you.
This is room 126, and I'm speaking in an extremely hushed voice in order not to incur the wrath of the highly dangerous Mr. Hook, who at this very moment is in here eating small economic students and spitting their bones out into a bucket.
I've just asked these gentlemen to come in just for a few minutes. I mean, I wouldn't waste their film on one of my lessons. Just to perhaps show them what an economics group looks like nowadays. As you can see, it's made up of the mediocre down to the sort of also-rans at the other end of the room. A wide array of dress. We have, there probably weren't these in your day, but this is an economic punk. And there's Andrew, who's permanently rooted usually to the study bays. You know, occasionally has his book open as well. A group of about 50. There's Mark Eaton over there. Now, Mark's one of those rarities in economics. He's come back for another crack at the whip. He wasn't happy with the grade B he got last year. And he says, well, everybody else seems to be doing quite well, so I like to get in on it as well. There's George. These are Scottish equivalent of an economist. And Hazel over there, who usually advertises something to do with Boots hair products. At the present time, would you like just to mention what we're actually doing in economics here? Come on, I mean, you've got a lot to say.
Maybe better choose somebody who's a bit more...
The people actually listening to this, or expected to be listening to this, are ex-students from Imberhorn, some of which have done economics. So I said, well, come in, you can see the sort of how groups have changed, whether they look any different, whether they look older or younger or more alert. I just wonder whether you'd like to comment on what we're actually doing at the moment. And so all the people watching will say, oh, God, I remember those boring lessons.
Well, basically at the moment we're doing national income.
Good.
Thank you. Right.
National income what, Ian?
Well, I don't know yet. Very start today's lesson.
Hang on a second. Carl's quite lucid, clear, confident. Well, can you just tell them what we're actually studying at the moment? Just bring back a few memories to those deputy bank managers that used to do economics.
National income accounting.
Good.
Yeah.
Really good national income, yes.
Yeah.
And what about some of the other work we've been doing this term? Keep smiling, Carl.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember. What have we doing?
Right, look who we found here, Mr. Rex Dumbrell, sitting in his ultra flash new surroundings. Tell us all about your surroundings.
They're a tip, basically. We have a drama studio. You will remember it as a dining room, no doubt, but we threw out the animals and put in some lights, and now
It's changed a bit.
Studio.
Yeah, so what do you do from here then?
Teach drama. It doubles as a theatre as well. We've done about, in 3 years, about 9 productions in here. We're trying to convert the school to a theatre centre with an educational establishment tacked on the outside of it, basically.
Sounds quite flash. You've been here a long time now. A lot of your colleagues who taught us have now moved on to other things. Don't you feel maybe that you've been here too long?
Yes. But you find me somebody else who'll pay me more for doing what I'm doing here.
Any regrets?
About what? Being here?
Yeah, if you like.
No. No, it's a nice, comfortable place to be. Good school. Acceptable students. They've got better since you lot, you know.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. In fact, I mean, what are they like? You know, sort of much the same or worse?
Less arrogant than they used to be.
Is that good?
No, it makes me feel older.
Well, you are older.
Shit, I hadn't realised. So are you.
This is perfectly true. In fact, we're all 5 years older. Would you like to say a few things to the people, the throng, who are, is that the word, who are amassed at this party for us? A few words of welcome or not?
I think they ought to stop thronging.
So what are the future? What are the future? What's happening? What's coming up?
Oh, more productions?
Anything exciting?
No, not really. Shakespeare in the spring, 12th night. We are toying with the idea of taking something to the Edinburgh Festival in a year or two. Yeah. We don't really know what, but something. It'll be rude.
Good heavens, look who we found here. Mr. Powell, or may I call you Lee?
Now it's been so many years, why not?
Right, Mr. Powell, a lot of our former teachers who taught us all those years ago have now moved on to better things. How come you're still here?
Well, it's not for want of trying, I can assure you, but, you know, the magic of Imberhorn still lingers on. Once you've been gripped by the weeds here, I mean, there are a lot of weeds here, but it's very difficult to move anywhere else. There aren't many places quite like Imberhorn.
You don't feel you're sick and tired of this place?
Tired, but only sick once a month.
I see. In the mornings?
Not recently.
That's good. Tell me, has this place changed for better or for worse?
Well, since you left, of course, it's changed for better, but, I mean, in the last year or two, things have started to be on a little bit on the decline. I put it down to the Tories coming to power.
I see. OK. Have you got any regrets?
About what?
Well, generally life, you know.
Well, I regret being born, but since that was an inevitability that I couldn't really cope with, no, I don't regret coming to Imberhorn, you know. It's wasted 7 years of my life, but I don't regret it.
And what of the future?
Is there a future? That is the question. Since Reagan came into power last night, one has got to consider whether there is going to be a future, so one might as well just throw off the shackles and throw caution to the wind and be interviewed in your library any hour of the day or night.
Fine, well, I think we can't add very much more to that, really.
Could I go through some of your old A-level papers, Dom, while we're here?
I think we better move on now, actually. Thank you very much. When we started into sixth form, we used to have to pay 25 pence for a dinner ticket. How much is it now? They don't have dinner tickets.
No, they just have, it's like a cafeteria. Every item is priced.
I caught outside prices too, aren't they?
More or less.
Yes.
How much do you think 25p, how much of a dinner would 25p buy now?
Well, you'd get a donut, a yoghurt, yes, or crisps, I think about 11 or 12p. And you get a donut for about 18, isn't it?
I don't know, because we normally don't eat the food.
Of course, yeah. There's a lot of changes to the building around here. Where do people eat nowadays?
In the hall, the assembly hall.
Assembly hall. That has to be cleared up, you see, ready for the next lesson.
Well, are the children here now as badly behaved as we were?
Well, I think so. I do seriously think that they are a little worse. They are rude.
Rude?
Rude, yes, really rude.
But we were horrible, weren't we, really?
No, you were a good comparison.
OK, we're now with the headmaster of Imberhorn School, Mr. Jack Mallinson. I'd like to thank you, first of all, for letting us wander around the school with our prying video cameras. It's very kind of you.
We've got nothing to hide, I hope. And I look forward to seeing what you've got at the end of it.
Right, well, I don't know if we can start off. We got some photographs here of some people that were around in our time period, our years. Any faces that you recognise out of the crowd? Perhaps you'd like to say hello to anyone in the audience, because quite a few of them are likely to be here tonight.
Isn't this shameful? I can remember Mr. Smart, you see. That's all right. Yeah. I wonder what he's up to now.
Actually, there's a lot of changes being carried out in the school at the moment. What exactly is happening to our old place? It's all changing.
Well, we reckoned that it was the most crowded school in Sussex, and there wasn't enough room to move and breathe in. And the county have at last agreed with that, and they've said that they would spend £250,000 on giving us a new building. And that's what you can see going up. Have you photographed it?
Yeah, we've had a look at the holes in the ground. That's in the playground, is it?
Yes, and taken pictures.
Yeah.
Because one day we would like to have pictures of the playground as it was and much loved, and what the hole is like and how the hole gets filled. So that could be useful recording what you've done.
So is there anything finally you'd like to say to the gathered masses at this reunion party tonight? Anything personal message you'd like to give to them at all?
Well, delighted that you actually want to come and do this. I think it's very touching. Whatever amusement it may cause on the evening, I can't but be pleased. It's the first time in my experience that anybody's wanted to come back and photograph or interview teachers. So I think it's a nice idea, and good luck to you. And I hope you're successful in life. I did meet a girl the other day who left us 2 years ago, and she was very cheerful and very friendly, but she said, "School, I reckon you taught me to read and write, and that's about it." And she was now going on to managerial courses at Gatwick and so on. So I think we have no illusions about what school does or does not do. But still, if you remember us with affection, I shall be very pleased.
Okay, well, Mr. Madison, thanks very much.
Not at all.
Thank you.